Everyone wants to be rich until they realize wealth exposes just how broke their mindset really is. Because let's be honest, most people don't want freedom, they want expensive proof they're still stuck in the same mental cage. Fact 1. The money is evil paradox. 280 words. You've heard it your whole life. Money is the root of all evil. Cute phrase, also wildly inaccurate. Money isn't evil. It's just a mirror that shows who you really are when the Wi-Fi goes off and the bills pile up. The idea that wanting wealth makes you greedy is the psychological equivalent of saying eating food makes you selfish. This belief was handcrafted by people who wanted you obedient, broke, and morally superior to the ones who could afford therapy. Here's the thing. When you think money is dirty, you subconsciously repel it. You undercharge, you self-sabotage, you call financial ambition selling out while working 60 hours a week for someone who literally sells you out every fiscal quarter. It's poetic in a tragic comedy sort of way. You'll see people post memes about not needing money to be happy, from a $200 iPhone connected to a 90-month data plan while sipping a $6 latte that costs more than a gallon of gas. What's even darker? This belief gives broke people a moral identity. It turns financial failure into a virtue, a gold medal for surviving capitalism without participating. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Money doesn't corrupt you, it amplifies you. If you're kind, you'll become generous. If you're manipulative, you'll just do it in designer shoes. Calling money evil doesn't make you righteous. It just guarantees you'll keep praying for abundance while secretly resenting anyone who has it. Money isn't evil. Ignorance about it is. Fact 2. The hard work mapper wealth illusion. Here's the scam no one tells you about. Hard work doesn't make you rich. Leverage does. But we were all raised on a beautiful bedtime lie that if you just grind harder than everyone else, you'll magically climb to financial heaven. Meanwhile, the people preaching hustle culture are sipping espresso on a beach, while your 12-hour shift buys them a new beachfront umbrella. Think about it. Janitors work harder than CEOs, teachers work harder than influencers, and nurses do more in one night than some crypto bros do in a year. But who's cashing in? Spoiler, it's not the ones sweating. The economy doesn't reward effort, it rewards systems. The harder you work for money, the further you drift from learning how to make money work for you. It's like running on a treadmill, technically moving, but never going anywhere. This illusion keeps billions trapped. You feel guilty resting. You glorify burnout. You brag about being busy as if exhaustion is a personality trait. And when you're finally too tired to care, you call rich people lucky. As if luck built Amazon or paid off their 5th rental property. It didn't. Leverage did. Here's the punchline. The rich don't work harder. They work smarter with other people's time, skills, and capital. They delegate. They automate. They multiply effort through systems while the rest of us perfect the art of running in place. So, if you're still believing the fairy tale that hard work equals wealth, congratulations, you've mastered the ancient art of making everyone else rich but yourself. Fact 3. The I'll be happy when I'm rich delusion. This one's a classic. The emotional Ponzi scheme of personal finance. You tell yourself, once I make 6 figures, I'll finally relax. Then you make 6 figures, and suddenly it's, okay, but I'll really chill at 7. Spoiler, you won't. Because your brain doesn't want happiness, it wants escalation. It's a dopamine junkie wearing a business suit. We treat money like it's therapy, validation, and eternal youth rolled into one. But here's the dark comedy. Rich people are just as stressed. They just do it in quieter cars. You think the zeros will fix your anxiety, your relationship, your self-worth. But all money does is remove your excuses. Once you have it, you realize the real problem was never the bank balance. It was the mental bankruptcy. You've probably seen it. The influencer who preaches financial freedom while crying in a Bali villa because their Wi-Fi is spiritually draining. The corporate climber who finally hits their dream salary and instantly Googles, "Why do I still feel empty?" Because wealth doesn't replace purpose. It just exposes whether you ever had one. Psychologists call it the hedonic treadmill. You adapt so fast to new luxuries that your brain files them under normal within weeks. The $60K car becomes mid. The penthouse becomes fine. And the happiness you thought was waiting at the top just sends you back to the start line, chasing the next upgrade. Here's the cruel truth. If you can't find peace while you're broke, you won't find it rich either. You'll just have better lighting for your existential crisis. Fact 4. The debt is just part of life. Trap. This is the financial equivalent of saying, poison's fine, everyone's drinking it. Society has done such a stellar job normalizing debt that people now treat it like a personality type. Credit card debt, student loans, car payments, buy now, pay later plans. We call it financial management. In reality, it's a slow-motion surrender. Debt used to mean desperation. Now it's marketed as empowerment. The ads don't say, here's a loan you'll regret. They say, you deserve this. And like obedient little consumers, we sign up for a lifetime of interest payments just to own things that impress people who don't even notice us. We're the only species that willingly shackles itself and then posts pictures of the chains on Instagram with a hashtag like #MoshAdulting. But the system loves this trap, because when you're buried in debt, you're not dangerous, you're dependable. You won't quit your soul-sucking job, you won't take creative risks, and you definitely won't revolt. You'll just quietly bleed interest payments until the day you die, calling it stability. It's economic Stockholm syndrome. You fall in love with the thing holding you hostage. And here's the cruel twist. Debt doesn't just steal your money, it steals your timeline. It delays dreams, kills creativity, and makes survival feel like an accomplishment. We measure adulthood by credit scores instead of freedom. You're not financially independent if your paycheck already has 4 different landlords before it hits your account. Debt isn't normal, it's domestication. It keeps you tame, compliant, and perpetually chasing the illusion that next month you'll finally catch up. You won't. The game isn't designed for you to win. It's designed for you to keep playing. Fact 5. The more money means more freedom. Lie. Here's the myth that fuels every sleepless entrepreneur, every overworked executive, every side hustle junkie building their empire one anxiety attack at a time. The story goes, if I just make enough money, I'll finally be free. But let's be honest, most people don't want freedom. They want prettier handcuffs. You see it everywhere. Someone doubles their income and somehow doubles their expenses right along with it. The new car, the upgraded apartment, the I deserve this vacation financed on a platinum card. Suddenly they're making 6 figures and still broke, just in higher resolution. It's not freedom, it's lifestyle inflation with a PR team. Real freedom isn't earning more, it's needing less. But that's terrible for capitalism. So we've been trained to equate consumption with liberation. Buy the car, buy the brand, buy the identity. Every purchase whispers, you're winning, until the bills show up and you realize you've been financing your own captivity. Even millionaires fall for it. They build businesses that make millions and then chain themselves to those same businesses for life. Their calendars become their new prisons, their inboxes the guards. They don't own their money owns them. The irony? The person with no debt, a cheap apartment, and enough savings to quit their job for 6 months is freer than the successful guy who can't miss a single paycheck because his lifestyle has him on a financial leash. More money can buy options, yes, but options aren't freedom if you're too terrified to choose them. True wealth isn't about how much you can buy, it's about how little you have to. Fact 6. The investing is only for the rich. Myth: this belief has kept more people broke than bad luck ever could. Somewhere along the way, we decided that investing is this mystical ritual reserved for men in suits screaming at TV screens while holding cigars and insider secrets. Meanwhile, the rest of us sit back, clutching our $9 lattes, saying, I'll start when I have extra money. Spoiler alert, you never will, because extra money doesn't exist in a world designed to extract every cent you make. The irony is painful. The people who say, I can't afford to invest, are often the same ones paying interest to someone who did. Credit card debt? That's you investing, just in the bank's retirement plan. Car loan? Investment. In your lender's yacht. You're already an investor. You're just on the losing team. The truth is, investing isn't about being rich. It's about refusing to stay broke. The rich didn't wait until they had money to invest. They invested until they had money. They understood the boring math that the poor ignore. Compound interest doesn't care about your excuses. It rewards consistency, not wealth. But schools won't teach you this, because if everyone learned that $10 a day in an index fund could make you a millionaire over time, the system would collapse. People might stop buying crap they don't need. They might stop borrowing. They might even, God forbid, start owning things. So the next time someone says investing is for the rich, remember, it's not about how much you start with, it's about how long you stay in the game. Because in this economy, you're either compounding wealth or compounding regret. Fact 7. The saving equals safety. Illusion you've been told since childhood. Save your money and you'll be safe. It sounds wise, like something your grandparents would say right before telling you how they bought a house for $12 in 1973. But in today's economy, saving doesn't make you safe. It just means you're slowly bleeding value in a more polite way. Let's face it, your savings account isn't a vault. It's a very boring funeral for your purchasing power. Inflation's the silent pickpocket in the room, and every year it quietly steals 5–10% of your safety blanket. The longer you save, the smaller it gets. You're not building security, you're embalming your cash in low-interest formaldehyde. Meanwhile, banks laugh all the way to their quarterly earnings calls. They borrow your savings for almost free, then lend it out at interest rates that would make a loan shark blush. You get 0.4% interest, they get yachts with helipads. And yet people still proudly post about hitting savings goals like it's 1955. Here's the harsh truth. Saving is not a wealth strategy. It's a waiting room for people too scared to make their money move. Real safety comes from assets that work while you sleep, not from watching a number in your banking app slowly lose the will to live. And no, this isn't financial advice. It's basic logic. The goal isn't to save money, it's to save yourself from a system that rewards fear. Cash sitting still isn't safety, it's surrender. And in a world where your coffee costs more every month, saving alone is just a slow, polite way of going broke. Fact 8. The more education means more money scam. Ah yes, the great academic fairy tale. Get good grades, get a degree, and get rich. Sounds wholesome, right? Like something written by a college marketing department and approved by a student loan company. The problem? It's one of the most profitable lies ever told, for everyone except the person paying tuition. We were sold the idea that diplomas are golden tickets to wealth. In reality, most of them are just very expensive participation trophies in the game of capitalism. You graduate blinking into the sunlight, armed with theoretical knowledge and $80,000 in debt, only to realize your dream job pays less than the school cafeteria cashier. You studied economic models. Now you are one. Meanwhile, universities operate like luxury brands. They sell prestige, not practicality. You're not paying for education. You're paying for a logo to put on your resume. The actual learning, half of it's outdated, the other half is Googleable. But hey, at least you got to attend mandatory diversity workshops while your tuition quietly financed the dean's new vacation home. The cruel joke? The world's richest people, the ones who built the companies you dream of working for, didn't play by the same rules. Gates, Jobs, Zuckerberg, all college dropouts who realized sooner than most that the real economy rewards innovation, not memorization. Don't get me wrong, education matters. But confusing education with institutional debt slavery is how millions end up broke, bitter, and bragging about their GPA to recruiters who stopped caring 10 seconds ago. The truth is, knowledge builds wealth, not credentials. But the system would rather you pay for permission to feel intelligent than actually use that intelligence to escape it. Fact 9. The I deserve it. Spending syndrome. This one's the silent killer of bank accounts. The emotional justification that turns financial self-sabotage into a self-care ritual. I've worked hard. I deserve this. Famous last words before you swipe your card like it's a weapon of self-expression. Let's be clear. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your money. The problem is when treat yourself becomes defeat yourself. We've turned indulgence into identity. Marketers figured out that guilt sells, so they made spending feel therapeutic. You're not just buying shoes, you're celebrating progress. You're not ordering overpriced takeout again, you're honoring your inner child. Translation: you're financially bleeding with poetic flair. The irony? The poorer people feel, the more likely they are to splurge on status symbols. It's called compensatory consumption, the psychological need to look successful when you don't feel it. That's why broke 20-somethings drive luxury cars they can't afford, and middle-class families spend half their paychecks at stores that sell the illusion of wealth in credit installments. This "I deserve it" mentality is capitalism's favorite drug because it makes you crave relief from the stress the system itself created. You work too much. You're exhausted. You buy something to feel alive. Now you have to work even more to pay for it. Congratulations, you've become a hamster on a Gucci wheel. True self-care isn't retail therapy, it's financial stability, it's sleeping at night without calculating your credit limit. So the next time that little voice says, "You deserve it," remember, it's not you talking. It's the marketing department in your brain whispering, "Thanks for your service." Fact 10. The rich people just got lucky. Comfort myth. Ah yes, the bedtime story for the financially frustrated, they just got lucky. It's the mental bubble wrap that keeps you safe from the sting of accountability. Because if wealth is just luck, you don't have to change anything. You can stay broke, but morally superior about it. Let's break the illusion. Luck might open a door, but discipline keeps it from slamming shut. The wealthy don't sit around praying for cosmic alignment. They build habits, systems, and networks that make luck show up more often. The broke call it unfair. The rich call it Tuesday. Of course, luck plays a role, but so does the choice to recognize opportunity instead of scrolling past it. The uncomfortable truth is that most people are lucky enough, born in countries with Wi-Fi, education, and access to Google, and still do nothing with it. Because blaming luck feels easier than confronting laziness, fear, or financial ignorance. Think about it. Every lottery winner proves that money without mindset equals disaster. Within 5 years, most of them are broke again. Why? Because luck handed them wealth their habits weren't built to sustain. Meanwhile, self-made millionaires lose everything, rebuild, and do it faster. Because their foundation isn't cash, it's competence. The lucky myth is emotional insulation for the complacent. It protects your ego from admitting you've been playing defense in a game where offense wins. You don't need luck, you need literacy. Because while most people wait for fortune to strike, the rich are out there manufacturing their own. Luck isn't the reason they're rich. It's the excuse you use for not being one of them. Fact 11. The multiple streams of income. Misunderstanding. This phrase has gone viral like a financial gospel. You need 7 streams of income. Sounds impressive, right? Like a motivational poster. Your broke friend reposts while applying for their 3rd credit card. The problem? Nobody mentions that most people can't even manage 1 stream without drowning in debt, let alone 7. Here's the thing. Having multiple streams of income doesn't automatically make you rich. It just multiplies your chaos if you don't know what you're doing. You see people trying to build empires with zero structure. Day trading, dropshipping, affiliate marketing, renting out their garage, selling digital crystals on Etsy, all while barely paying rent. They're not diversifying wealth. They're diversifying panic. The rich didn't start with 7 streams. They mastered 1. They built a single strong foundation, then expanded strategically. But social media makes it look like millionaires are just spinning plates of passive income while meditating in Bali. In reality, each passive stream took years of discipline, capital, and compound effort. Passive income is just active work with a time delay. But people love shortcuts, so they spread themselves thinner than their savings account, chasing shiny new hustles that all collapse at once. And when it fails, they say, "Guess I'm not lucky enough." No, you're just impatient enough to mistake motion for progress. Here's the harsh truth. 1 solid stream executed with obsession will outperform 7 half-baked ones every time. You don't need 7 incomes to get rich. You need one that actually works while you sleep. Build that first, then multiply it. Because multiple streams of income sounds wise until you realize you're drowning in all of them. Fact 12. The "it's too late for me" excuse. This one's a fan favorite among financially defeated adults. The tragic anthem of "I missed my chance." You'll hear it from 25-year-olds who think they're ancient, from 40-year-olds who act like the economy personally betrayed them, and from retirees who could still crush TikTok if they stopped complaining about it. The truth? Too late is a mindset, not a math problem. The market doesn't check your birth certificate before compounding your returns. But believing you've run out of time gives you a convenient excuse to stop trying, because trying means admitting you wasted time before. That's the part no one wants to face. People love to point at young millionaires on social media and sigh, Well, it's easy for them. They started early. Sure. But that same logic means you'll never start at all. The average millionaire hits it around age 49, not 19. The difference is they didn't waste decades saying someday. They started small, stayed consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting. Meanwhile, the "it's too late" crowd keeps romanticizing regret like it's a personality. They'd rather stay broke than risk looking foolish. They treat inaction as wisdom, convincing themselves that caution is maturity, when it's actually fear with better branding. Here's the brutal truth. It's only too late when you're dead. And even then, some people still manage to publish posthumous bestsellers. The clock isn't your enemy, your ego is, because every minute you spend saying it's too late is another minute proving yourself right. Money doesn't care how old you are, only that you finally stopped waiting for permission to start. Fact 13. The "I'll start when things calm down" delusion. Ah yes, the national anthem of procrastination. I'll focus on my finances once things settle down. Newsflash, they never do. Life isn't a calm ocean waiting for your budget boat to drift peacefully across. It's a hurricane that occasionally pauses just long enough for you to mistake chaos for progress. People love to believe there's a perfect moment to start saving, investing, or building something. After this vacation, after this promotion, after I pay off this one last thing. And somehow, that one last thing keeps reproducing like financial rabbits. The perfect time never arrives because you've made not yet your favorite financial strategy. Meanwhile, the rich treat chaos as normal. They make moves while it's messy. They invest during uncertainty. They build during recessions because they know that waiting for stability is how you guarantee stagnation. If you only act when life is calm, you'll act never. And let's be honest, when things calm down is just code for when it's easy. But wealth doesn't grow in easy. It grows in discipline, discomfort, and the 10 minutes you'd rather scroll Instagram than check your budget. Here's the dark comedy. If you're waiting for calm, you'll die in the storm still holding a someday sign. There's no later. Later is just now, with more regret. So stop fantasizing about the mythical future where your schedule clears, the economy stabilizes, and your motivation magically returns. That's not a plan. That's a fairy tale. Start while it's ugly, inconvenient, and stressful. Because if you can't build in the chaos, you'll never earn the calm. Fact 14. The money will change who I am. Fear. Here's the final and most comforting lie broke people tell themselves. I don't want to be rich. Money changes people. Oh, really? Because last time I checked, you're already stressed, anxious, and snapping at your loved ones over bills. So maybe money wouldn't change you. It would just upgrade your mood lighting. This belief is pure self-defense. It's how people spiritualize their fear of responsibility. They'd rather stay broke and authentic than risk becoming wealthy and accountable. It's easier to call rich people corrupt than to admit you're scared of what power might reveal about you. Because money doesn't rewrite your character, it amplifies it. It turns your whispers into megaphones. Generosity becomes philanthropy. Insecurity becomes ego. Pettiness becomes a full-time hobby with a luxury budget. People say, I don't want money to change me. Translation, I don't trust myself not to self-destruct. And that's the real issue, not the money, the lack of self-awareness. Blaming wealth for corruption is like blaming a mirror for your bad haircut. Here's the truth. Money won't make you evil. It'll just expose whether you already were. If you're kind, you'll have the resources to help others. If you're selfish, you'll just buy louder ways to prove it. The fear of becoming different is the excuse that keeps good people powerless because they've confused humility with poverty. So stop romanticizing struggle like it's a moral achievement. The goal isn't to stay humble and broke. It's to be whole and wealthy, to have enough that money stops controlling your decisions. Because money doesn't change who you are, it just stops letting you hide it. So tell me, which of these financial delusions has been living rent-free in your head? Drop your favorite in the comments, and maybe, just maybe, we'll all admit the truth. Being broke isn't a tragedy. Believing lies about money is.